This one goes out to Leah.
Fred, what are you doing over there?
Well, I seen a picture of you last Saturday night. Didn't know it was you, but you're looking alright. I didn't understand it, but I...
Now, Fred, be careful under there. That hood has a tendency to fall once in a while.
Wanted you to know, where did you come from, baby? Where did you go when, baby? Yeah.
Well, hey, if you don't like fixing things and making them just like brand used, this channel may not be for you. Holy CrustyChrysler! It's a 360! Hey, it's Rick here. Well, we're back on the CrustyChrysler today, and I went up to the old O'Reilly's and got me some parts. I got a new radiator hose for the bypass. I got some new heater hose, and I had to order a universal heater hose for the upper radiator hose, and I had to order a lower radiator hose, which is available. The upper radiator hose is not available, but there is, of course, a universal one. And if you remember from seeing this thing, it already has a universal one on it. So that's probably what somebody else found when they tried to buy the part before. So, have no idea the last time the cooling system was flushed on this, but we're gonna, and it doesn't really have a whole lot in it, so hopefully there's not a freeze plug rusted out somewhere, but we're not gonna know till we fill it up. And I'm not gonna fill it up with water until I get some good heater hoses on it, or some good radiator hoses. Well, the heater hoses and the radiator hose, the bypass, all that's bad. I mean, you can almost poke your finger through them. That's how thin they are. So anyway, so we're gonna get busy, drain this out of here, and we're gonna see how far we get. All right, thanks for coming along, thanks for sharing. Be sure and like this video, and comment. Tell us what you think. A lot of you guys have got a lot of good information. I know some stuff, but I don't know everything. Because here at this channel, we're making it just like brand used, baby. Well, that should be all the tools we need. Especially this duker here, because you can just cut stuff off with that. So, anyway, that should be all the tools we need. Yeah, that'll be the day. Well, that'll be the day that you say goodbye. That'll be the day that you let me cry. Okay, let's see if we can get some of this loosened up on here. This old radiator hose here looks like it came, well, I started to say it came over on the arc, but we know it didn't because it's a replacement one. So it certainly ain't the big original, but that old hose clamp probably ain't either, but that thing is rusty, man. And crusty, just like old CrustyChrysler. But we got some new ones. Now I also got a, oh boy, that's right. Hey, I'm filming over here. Anyway, I got a new thermostat as well because, you know, that thing probably ain't going to work either. So I don't think there's anything in this, but we're going to find out. I know you can't see anything in the radiator, that's for sure. Ooh, that is tight. Goodness gracious. Oh my goodness. I want to tear the nipple off this thing. It may have fluid in it, I don't know. It looks wet, but don't show anything. Yeah. She's pretty clean down inside there, believe it or not. That kind of surprises me. Alright, let me get some more of this tore apart and we'll take a look. Oh. Her name was Bertha. Bertha Butt. She was one of the Butt sisters. Oh, come on, baby. Doggone. hope this thing ain't rusted out because probably never would find one of them. Whew! She's a little crusty in there, guys. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's been sitting there a while. But you know, that thing is more flexible than I thought. Alright, show you more. Trying to baby this thing off of here because the feller never knows when you might need something like this in a pinch. I don't want to rely on it. Well, that's handy. I just do not like these. Let me know if you like these. I just never did. I started seeing these in the, gosh, late 60s, early 70s on some of the stuff Grandpa used to work on, and I just never did like them. So. But I guess there's a purpose for them. Let's see. There we go. Let's look at this one. Well, that's pretty clean on the inside, guys. I mean, I'm rather shocked. Alright, show you more. Well, there was a little bit of coolant in there, or a little bit of green looking water of some kind. So we'll see how much comes out of it. Alright, show you more. I gotta tell you guys, I ain't too excited about trying to take that thermostat housing off, but I did soak it about 2 weeks ago and soaked it down good, and then I just hit it with a little bit of PB Blaster again here just a minute ago. So I guess we're just going to give it a whirl and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? They twist off and I got to drill them out? Yeah. So let's just see what we got here. Well, that one's tight. Oh my gosh! That one moved a little. I'm just going to back up and just kind of work it back and forth here. Okay, that one feels pretty loose now. Let's see about this one. Wow. Well, drop me a comment down below and tell me how you'd do this. Of course, by the time I get the comment, I'll have already either done it right or done it wrong. Alright. Let me see what I can do here. Show you more. Oh, there, it moved a little. Let's just work it back and forth a little here. I do not like drilling out bolts. Yeah, she's moving a little freer. Well, that'll be the day. All right. Oh yeah, she's a loosening right on up now, boys. Just keep working it. I ain't in no big hurry. Oh yeah, she's coming right on out of there now. Alright. Let's loosen up this other side a little. Oh yeah, she's loosening right on up. Alright, let's pull that off of there. Show you more. I know what you're saying. You could have took this air cleaner off, Rick. You could have got in there a little easier. Yeah, I could have. But as much junk is blowing around off these oak trees, I didn't want to get anything down that brand used carburetor up there. So, and yeah, I could get my air tools out, my air ratchet out, it'd be a lot faster, but I don't know. I just didn't feel like doing it. Looky there. That don't look too bad. Yeah, she's pretty gruesome. That thing probably would have stuck. But we could heat it up in a pot of water and find out. Alright, show you more. Okay, well, got this old thermostat here, and I was cleaning it off, and it looks like it's either a 199 or a 901 or a 0190. So I don't know what that is. I have no idea. Now, I know this new one should be like a 165. 160. Okay. 71C for all you people who go by that number. But I ain't smart enough to know what all that is. So now we got this cleaned up. I took my doogie whopper here and cleaned off all that junk and wiped it down. And I did put a rag down in this hole to scrape all that off so stuff wouldn't go in there. Obviously, I didn't want that. So now I ain't got none of that high temp red stuff like we used when I was in the Air Force. We just smeared that on everything. But I do have some Gorilla Booger here. So I'm going to put a little Gorilla Booger on here. Kind of around like that. And this didn't have a gasket in it when I took this off. It didn't have one of these. It just had a bunch of this. So at least I'm going to put a gasket on it. Maybe you don't have to, but and maybe it's not required, but the part they sold me has one. So now this thermostat, for you guys that don't know any different, it should say on here which one goes to the radiator, but it doesn't. Melt rod 160. But anyway, this old one does. This old one says this side towards radiator. Well, that's that side right there. You want the heat sink down in the block. Now, the other thing about this is this piece here has got a little bit of a groove down in it here for this to set in. See how that sets down in that? So we want to make sure that when we put that on there, that we put that on that, like that. So what we're going to do here is take this little fancy gasket here, pop them little doogie whoppers out of there, and hopefully this thing will stick. I cleaned this up off camera, but and so you can see those little notches right there. That's to kind of hold this gasket. I'm just going to press that down on there. I want to make sure that's centered good, that this is centered good. Because if you get this up on that lip a little, she's not going to work too good. It looks good. So let's drop this down in there. And we take our bolts, run them down on there. And I don't know what the torque spec is on this, but we ain't going to just crank them down and break them off, I'll tell you that. So let's just kind of snug it up there a little. Same way on this side. Snug it up a little. Click. 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 Okay, I'd say that's probably good. Alright, let's put our bypass hose in. Okay, let's see if we can get this on here. I got me some new clamps too, and they ain't them pinch-on clamps. I just don't like those guys. They might be just wonderful, maybe too small. Get on there. Oh my goodness, you little heifer. Come on now, let's play friendly. Takes all kinds in the sandbox here. I believe that must be a little too taut. Yep, I'm afraid that's what it was, guys. Let's see here. That may not be, this just may not be big enough. I may have to get me a bigger clamp. Alright, show you more. Okay, well, I had to stop and run down to the Napa because the radiator hoses came in. Now this one is supposed to be able to fit on here and turn and go on there, and it looks like that might work. Okay, so there's that one. Yeah, I believe that's right in there. And I believe that'll go on that. So there's that one. And this is the bottom one. Let's see if that somewhat looks correct. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That one down there looks a little different. We'll see when we get to that one. And of course, I didn't have the right size radiator hoses for this, or clamps. So, anyway, so let's see what we got here. Okay, I believe these will slip on here now. That's good. Alright, I think you get the idea here. So let me go ahead and tighten this one up, put this on here, and then we'll move down to the bottom and we'll put that lower one on. Alright, show you more. Okay, well I went ahead and got this hose put on like we talked about, buttoned that up. So I started replacing these, and I thought, well, I don't like the fact that they just kind of hang out here together and is supported off of this doogie whopper here. So I think what I'm going to do, I had this old bracket off of something, so I think I'm going to put that right in here and kind of hold this up like this. I may have to modify the way it's bent. That way it kind of gives them something a little secure out here. And then, because this little doogie whopper goes on there too to hold the two together. So I think I'll modify this, and there's a hole here where some of that other crap I deleted was bolted. So I think I'll just bolt that there, and that'll keep that up out of the way. So I don't know. That's what I'm going to do anyway. Alright, show you more. Alright. I did have to take and waller that hole out there just a little bit, because my screw wouldn't, or my bolt that was screwed into this fender for some of that stuff I deleted was a bit too big to go in that hole. So let's see if this one will go in there. And this is like a 10 millimeter. Being a 79, about half the stuff under here is metric and half of it ain't. I always hated all that transition that the car companies did. That just meant you had to have twice as many tools. Alright, that ought to hold that. Now that'll just give that something to, and see this one here, it's so hard I can't even move it, but it'll come right on around in here too and then go over there. So alright, I think that's going to work. Alright, show you more. Now I ain't never had one of them dukers there that didn't leak after it sat for a while. They all leak, so hopefully this one won't, but I wouldn't be too surprised if it don't. So Anyway, let's cut this off a little here. Careful not to cut your fingers off, because that'd be kind of nasty. I should have bought a bigger hose clamp. Look at that over here. Oops. I want that little beaker. Okay. See if we can just tighten down here. You guys probably know exactly what this little doozy whopper is called here, because I certainly do not. Alright, let's take this one off. Now someone's changed this one, or this hose has been changed somewhere in its life, because it's got it's softer. And it's actually got hose clamps on it instead of those wire pinchy things. Oh, by the way, let me show you the ones that came off of here. Every one of these that came off of those snapped whenever I went to squeeze them together. They just broke. I'd never have had that happen before. Usually you can't never get these things off. So anyway, another good reason not to use these, I guess. Okay, so we got our new bypass on. We got new heater hoses run over. There's that little thing I reused through a bracket that really doesn't belong to this vehicle, but it will work, through the control valve, which is hooked up to vacuum, and back over there to where they go into the heater control box. Actually, they look like they screwed right on, or slipped on and then tightened down right over the heater core. I'm assuming that's what it is. That's what it looked like. So, and we got the top radiator hose on. So now it's time to get underneath and put that on. So, all right, show you more. Well, let's move this pan over here. We wound up with about a gallon of antifreeze, and quite honestly, other than the rust falling in from the rusty hood, it isn't too dirty. So I'm hoping that's a good sign. And I think we'll slide that over here, because that's about where that hose is at. Look at the dust fall, or the rust. The old CrustyChrysler is crusted out, baby. Okay. That ought to be high enough. Let me get a jack stand. That ought to be just about safe enough to, I don't know what. Especially since that's all Harbor Freight and, you know, quality stuff there. Alright, let's see if we can get this radiator hose off. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Probably not. This is what I got to take off. I ain't got no good place for the camera, so let me get this took loose, popped off of there. Then we're going to have to get up in there and take it loose over there. So, alright, show you more. let's see now. That'll probably come rushing down out of there and just get all over me, I'm sure. So, let's get prepared for that. Oops, I didn't want to stick that in there. That was stupid. Well, it's kind of loose on there, but she's moving on me. Well, let me get up on top and see if I can pull that off there. Okay, well, I got that thing off of there. And one of the things, well, at first glance, I thought they, you know, at first glance, this does not look like this is going to work, okay? Because it comes up out, goes up over that heavy-duty sway bar that this 300 has, and then goes into the water pump. So if you lay this down here next to that, you know, you're going to say, oh, well, that's going to hit that sway bar. But if you turn it the way that it's actually in there, like this, and then put it on here, you're up out of the way here. So I think it'll work. My only concern is that this original one here has a metal coil in it here, and I always thought you were supposed to have those in on the bottom radiator hose. So I don't know if I can get that out of there or not. So I might try to do that. Anyway, all right. Let me see what I got, and I'll show you more. Okay, well, I went ahead and stuck that. I pulled that metal piece out of the old one, and it was just as clean and as anything. So I put it back in this one because my grandpa always told me them lower radiator hoses will mash flat. That's why they're supposed to have that in there. As well, you know, the top ones, I think that one over there's got one in it, that top piece over there. You can see it in this right here, so it's kind of made into it, but maybe the new ones are stiffer and they don't require it, but I stuck it in there anyway. So, all right, I'm going to put this on here, and before I hook up the bottom part here, I am going to take the garden hose and kind of wash the bottom of the radiator out just to make sure nothing is in there. So it looks clean though. I probably don't need to do that. I'm just really shocked that it's as clean as it is on the inside. So anyway, all right, I'm talking and rambling. I need to get to work. All right, show you more. Well, guys, I guess that's going to about do it for this episode. We got all of the radiator hoses changed. We got the heater hoses changed, and that bypass hose changed. So, you know, it's still, you know, a 47-year-old vehicle or whatever this is, but at least the hoses will be in good shape. We'll see. What I plan to do is I'm going to fill it up with water and run a couple of heat cycles through it, and then I'm going to drain that water out and see how clean it is. Because I could put some flush in there. But my problem with that is that in the past, when I've done a radiator flush on something that's been sitting for a long time, generally the water pump goes, and then the radiator, if it's got any places in it at all, that usually is the next thing that starts leaking. So anyway, with all that said, thanks for coming along. Thanks for subscribing. Be sure and like us. Check us out on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on Rumble. We're on MeWe. So check us out. And, you know, just hit that like button. Subscribe today. You know, we're up to 560 subscribers. And we've just been kind of plateaued there, you know, for several days now. So that's cool. I mean, we got enough to go to the No Name Nationals. which I'll stick a show bill up for that right here. But, you know, it'd be great to get to 1,000. That's our next goal. So, anyway, like I said, thanks for coming along, and hope to see you out at the No Name Nationals down in Sykeston. And also, don't forget that we're going to take, if we can get it running, we got about 30 days, but actually 30 days from Friday, I think. If we can get this running and roadworthy, we're going to take this on Power Tour this year. So, first stop at Power Tour is Memphis. What's funny about the Power Tour is most people have the really beautiful, luxurious, you know, muscle cars that are all pristine. But there's a whole group that kind of drive junk like this. That's what we're going to be involved in. So if you're down in that area, check us out. And be sure and let me know if you run into me, and we'll do some video and put you on the channel. So that's what we're planning on doing. So anyway, again, thanks for coming along. And remember, we're making things just like brand used here, baby. You say you don't know where Rick's Rusty Rex is? Well, I'll tell you. Take the I-69 bypass, loop around on Doglick Road, head up 13th and hang a left, baby, and you're there.
Well, I seen a picture of you last Saturday.